drunk as hell. I get out of the Uber, and I'm walking into the airport, and I see from the baggage claim, not the ticket counters, there's a airport workers wheeling somebody out. I was like, that looks like John. But I legit don't think that's John. I was like, that looks just like John. I just keep walking. As I'm walking, that wheelchair is getting closer to me. I'm like, oh my God, that is John. Like, what in the hell happened?
What circumstances happened
like a hangover
where we got here?
We all got premium boarding. We all as a group slicked right through TSA, all because of my knee injury. So I think, in the grand scheme of things, it was for the greater good.
Yeah, exactly. So next time, if you don't get hurt, we will hurt you. So we get. Welcome back to CF Podcast, guys. Kai over here with Brandon on my right.
Hello.
And we've got John over there. And we have Ryan.
What's up, guys?
And today we're going to talk about all those crazy things that happen to us at Classic Firearms here, but behind camera, the stuff that you guys don't see, but Ryan pretty much sees everything. Apparently I don't see anything because they're telling me there's some crazy stuff, but I don't remember. But Brandon is now, he's that guy, and that guy right there, John, he photographs all that stuff.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we're going to get this kick started, and I'm going to start with Ryan because he's the one that probably has a couple.
All right. Yeah. So I think the strangest thing that's happened behind the scenes was actually like super gun related, which was
No way.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. No, we were actually at the range and I had built a new gun and I was like, all right, so I'm getting all these components together, figuring out how it all works. So when people say mil spec, you expect all of it to work together, right? Yeah. If they're, especially an AR-15, right? If it says it's mil spec upper, mil spec lower, mil spec bolt carrier group, mil spec barrel, it should work together.
Mm-hmm. Theoretically.
Yes. But what happened when I was building my first AR-15 was when I took it to the range, the bolt was having a bit of trouble locking into the barrel. And that was because, I guess, I'm assuming it was not headspaced correctly in some way.
When you say it wasn't locking in, give me more details on that. Like, how was it not locking in?
Seating.
Not,
yeah, it
not
just wasn't
all?
seating perfectly. Like, actually, Josh, you can get my, it's actually against the wall over there. Well, the exact one I'm talking about on the wall over there. And so I'm messing with this and I'm like, okay, so, it's a what is it? Psionics BCG. It's a Criterion barrel. Soup, both great companies in and of themselves, right? It's just not locking into place.
Yeah.
And it always would. When I charged, charging handle, I mean, we're talking all the way back, wouldn't go forward properly. And I'm like, that's a bit weird. Yeah. So I started messing with this. And now this is literally the same gun pretty much in every way, right? Except for a couple things. So as you can see, I mean, this thing, like, even if I barely move it, locks back into place. All the way back was not properly locking back in place. Strange, right? So messing with it, and I'm like, I'm just fire some rounds through it, see what's going. Maybe it's gritty, maybe it just needs. So I put some lube in it, made sure it was smoother, started working a bit better. Okay, then I hand it off, and I think John's taking some shots with it. We're all messing with it. Well, after out of the blue, maybe after about 50 rounds or so, and we are at least 2 mags in at this point.
So it's firing fine.
It's firing
not
fine.
seating well.
Yeah, and after, like I said, after I put some lube in, it was fine. Okay. Right? It seemed better. Okay. Right? After about 50 rounds, it was right at the verge of 2 full mags. It literally just popped. There was this pop that happened. And I was like, what just happened? I saw kind of some, it looked like some material. Pop? Yes, it was a metal pop, and some of the material flew from the gun. Uh-oh. And I was like, oh no, what's going on? And the first thing I noticed was the magazine, the bottom of the magazine blew out. So right here, just literally flew out the bottom. Spring went out, all the rounds went out. And then there was literally black powder, just kind of everywhere in the air around it. And then I started looking at it, and yeah, there was an issue with the bolt face after I was messing with it more. And when I found out, most likely the mil-spec BCG was not headspaced correctly.
Yeah.
Either the barrel was not headspaced correctly or the BCG was not. Obviously, I talked to both companies. They're like, no, it's fine. And this thing, if this is a serious situation, the reason it was a crazy story, if I and others did not have eye protection while shooting this gun, we would have had issues with our eyes. No doubt. And it was...
No, I'm so glad you brought the eye protection.
Yes, eye protection was the savior on that.
People,
no question, I would have gotten. There was shrapnel from this magazine with this, like not only this base pad, like did it just fall off? No, it broke away. The pressure broke, like the spring tension in the rounds broke through the magazine. This follower just like sprayed plastic, in different directions, like shrapnel.
Yeah, remember last week we were shooting at the range, and I always say, like, you shoot a metal, like a steel, doesn't matter, you always get eye protection. And then I say, even if you don't, it hits rocks, whatever, you can get stuff back. And then somebody grabbed the gun, somebody else, I don't remember who it was, like, oh, no, I'm not, I'm just going to shoot at this berm at 100. I was like, dude, something happens to the gun.
Yeah.
You could get stuff in your eyes. And that's exactly what we're talking about. And path of least resistance on ARs, always magazine. That's why when I was going through my trainings and stuff, they don't like people shooting like this. Okay, you know how you see people do this? They don't like that because if something blows up in here, it generally will go down here.
Yeah, exactly.
And you will hurt your hand.
It goes the path of least resistance down.
Very nice. Cool story. That's good. So what else?
Yeah, so that was a pretty crazy one that that I learned a lot from.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, we need to.
Is that why you always preach proper head spacing?
Yeah,
like
that is
I
why.
swear I've heard you say that at least a dozen times.
That is why, and it's also why it's better to get things from the same manufacturer, or if you don't, you go with reputable manufacturers. In this case, I mean, they both were, and still had an issue.
Tolerances, right?
Yeah.
They're both within the spec, but one is on this side of the spectrum. The other one's on that side, and that tolerance is,
And both companies are like, I've said it before, it's a Spider-Man meme. Everyone's pointing at each other, and they're like, you're to blame, you're the blame. And it's like, no, it's like,
Yet you sit with the broken AR.
Yeah, but I'm sitting here picking up the pieces, literally.
Yeah.
So that was one of my crazy ones, and I guess I'll pass it off to somebody else.
Yeah, very serious one, though. Like eye protection.
Yeah.
Like, people just shoot. I see it. I mean, I can speak for like Turkey. I see a lot of people in Turkey shooting. I don't ever see them shooting with eye protection. Even the law enforcement, military, civilians. I'm sorry, man. I can't not have eye protection when I'm shooting guns.
Yeah. That's why I actually I prefer to have ones that like go around my neck. Yeah. So if for some reason I have to like pull them off, I'm not like looking for a place to put them. They just dangle right there, and I can pop them right back on quick. They don't look as good. Yeah. Like, if you're trying to be cool, they don't look as good, but very functional. I'm not going to lose them. So
yeah, I have to admit, the only time I haven't worn eye protection is like long range stuff that we did. Remember the bolt gun series, like you shoot at 1,000 yards to 500 yards. I didn't because you know how it is. Like it does affect a little bit.
Oh, it totally does. Yeah. Especially if you're running and gunning with a scoped gun that you're shooting out long range with.
Yeah.
Then it gets even harder. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one.
I got a topic that I'm going to start off with a small story, but I know everybody's going to have something here. So everybody knows that we have a really good coverage when it comes to SHOT Show, NRA, any events that we go to. How many times have we had people accidentally or not caring interrupt a video by literally walking in front of the cameraman and the person speaking? I have you can find this moment that I'm going to speak about on camera. I think it's on day 2 of the CF Clips NRA coverage specifically, so you can find that. But literally, I'm sitting here talking Fusion Firearms. Awesome guns, really cool. They have 2011 style guns that are PMags. We were talking about them. I was really excited about it. I got behind their booth. I was talking
Glock
to them.
Max, right? Yeah.
Yep. And I set my camera up in front because I'm a one-man team when I go out there and do that. So the camera's sitting there on a big tripod that's about, 6 feet off the ground, kind of pointing down just a little bit. And on the other side of this booth, and me and the guy from Fusion are standing in the booth talking. This gentleman walks into frame, literally looks at us, sees us talking to a camera, walks into frame, looks back at the camera, grabs the gun and continues to play with it, looks back at the camera, and then continues to play with it for another 30 seconds. And we were trying to have a cut and tried to keep the interview going because he kind of looked like he was going to try and exit every once in a while. And he stood there for 30 seconds doing that. I know everybody has at least one of those stories. Would anybody else like to share?
I get cussed out like 3 to 4 times at either a SHOT Show or an NRA just from some random schmuck who has no situational awareness. I'm standing there with a monopod. I usually try to like armbar people when I'm coming up. I had this one particular old gentleman. He was on one of those Go Weasel scooters in NRA, and I can't remember what booth I was interviewing at, but he was just putting along, and I was eyeing him. And first, I try to make eye contact with the people first, be like, hey, like. But this guy didn't care. He just keeps coming. I'm like, all right, I'm going to step in. I put my arm up. This man looks at me, says a very not good term that I'm not going to say on here because, YouTube, and just blows right past through me. Like, I keep my arm, like, on his chest, and he just keeps rolling by on his freaking Go Weasel. Does not give a shit at all. I'm just like, dude, I'm just doing my job. What the heck? And then, like, every other time, like, it happens at least 3 or 4 times at each show someone cusses at me.
And for the record, I want to say, like, we love all the fans. Everybody is great. Like, we're not trying to put down anyone in particular, but, like, it is a thing that happens.
I mean, some of these guys.
Yeah, that's not what I was trying to say. I was just telling a story.
Yeah.
I'm putting down those people in particular.
Yeah, no,
I don't want to be. I'm not going to be politically correct. I'm going to be. Yes, I'm putting you down. Yeah, don't walk in front of my camera.
I have one to put down. Yeah. All right, so this guy was actually the first interview of SHOT Show that we were doing. So Kai and I come over there, and we're in front of, I think it was it's Radical Firearms, but it's Radical Defense.
ShyTac.
Specifically, they're doing like suppressors for ShyTac. They're making them. And we're doing this interview in front of the Gold Intervention with Brenda and Iron Monkey Customs and some of those guys. And while we're over there doing this, halfway through this video, there's literally a semicircle crowd of people watching because everybody's looking like, what is this Gold Intervention? What's this interview happening? Everyone's watching, right? This guy, seeing the crowd, just barrel rolls through the crowd.
Like he had no excuse.
Was he like walking?
Like
or was he on a
elbows.
cart?
No, he was walking.
Okay, walking.
No, he was walking. He just like elbowed, like started like getting people out through. And so he pushed through the crowd, then pushes through to the middle of the frame as we're shooting. And then I'm like looking at this guy like this, kind of just like confused, like, what are you doing, dude? And then on the other side of me, there's a guy on Instagram, Tamfamgram.
Yeah.
He's actually a pretty big like Instagrammer. He does like a lot of interesting firearm content, and he also has his own like store where he sells like interesting like topography like for guns and stuff. It's a cool account, right? This guy's a great guy, and Tam looks over and he's like, he grabs him by the back of his like collar, like backpack area, right? He grabs him to like stop him, like, hey man, what are you doing? And the guy like whips around, like slaps Tam's hand, and he's like, do not touch me. And then just ends it. And I was like, okay. And then him and I, as we're still filming, and Kai is talking to the ShyTac person, I'm sitting there
I
like,
just kept talking.
what is going on right now? A fight's about to break down because this guy, like behind the scenes, I know he knows some crazy moves, and I'm like, he didn't know he was messing with that day. One of those situations, and we just look at each other and we're like, oh.
It just was one of those things. Like, I understand folks who. Just if it's just a cameraman and a person and you have a little distance, you're talking and you don't notice bless you. Sorry. You don't notice it. You're at a gun show. You're looking at products. You could be on your phone. I can understand those folks, right? Mm-hmm. This dude had zero excuse because we had a U-shaped crowd around us. Like, you couldn't just mistakenly get in front of our camera. You had to push people out of the way.
Felt personal.
Well, yeah. But I was talking to Brenda, and I just saw the kind of gist of it. I was like, whoa, what's going on? But I kept talking. Mm-hmm. And this dude, he gotten his ass kicked, too, if he tried to do something with that guy.
100%. Yeah. Yes, he would have. Yeah. No doubt about it.
Yeah. That just, moral of the story, be careful you mess with.
Don't be
you
a
never
dick.
know.
No, it's,
You never know who you're going to come across. Mm-hmm. So.
Especially at a gun show.
That's a really good point. Why would you just blatantly be an
people.
asshole to someone?
Well,
here's the.
I'm gonna actually offer a little bit opposite to that one. At gun show, gun people are the nicest people that I know. We just are nicest. Like, we don't like people who just shoot other people. Generally tend to be like dirtbags, generally speaking. Mm. But I just feel like at a gun show, you probably will have more people who are able to handle themselves, maybe on a hand-to-hand. Mm-hmm. Your chances of running into somebody who is better at hand-to-hand combat at a gun show is probably higher than you just walking around Walmart.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yep.
Armed society is a polite society.
There you go. Exactly. That's what it is. So that's cool. I mean, that's a good one. Yeah, we have. I know John always like uses his little karate chop stuff all the time.
The karate.
Karate,
Yeah.
yes.
I do reps like weeks before SHOT Show just to get in shape. My lats would get like really sore.
That's what he does, right?
One arm only. Though.
Well,
I got
Shooting.
to hold the monopod. Yeah.
Yeah.
shooting guns here, like we do have sometimes like crazy things happen because we bring a lot of guns to the range and different calibers. So we got a lot of moving parts trying to make these content happen for you guys. And one time I just had this Scar 20, I believe. That was chambered at
It's a
308.
SIG spear.
Is
Are
that
we
six
thinking the
spear?
same one?
Maybe it was
Are we
six
talking
spear.
about the LPVO and then the red dot magnifier?
Which, tell me that story. Let me know
Okay,
how you know
all right,
it.
all right.
Go ahead and let me know how you know
Okay,
it.
what I thought you were about to say,
Yeah.
because you said Scar, and I think it was a Scar in a SIG video, SIG spear video, and it was when he got the first scope bite.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
was a
yeah.
so-
I forgot
A
about
while
that.
back.
I
So-
think I could probably find a lot of these clips, like
You
from old
probably
videos, and pull them.
I thought it was on the MRAD he got the scope bite
Nope,
for some reason.
spear.
No, it's because we were using the, what's the
3X.
short? No, but not even the 3X. We were using the short magnifier.
It was like the tiny one, the EOTech
The
G43.
43.
G43.
The 43, the
Dude,
short
let me
one.
tell you
Okay.
Yeah, at that time, Clint was running the Spear, right? Well, him and I were running it, but he had the stock kind of collapsed, and you got to get really close to that one. And we were doing a little drill, like shooting, standing, and then prone, something like that. So standing, I shot it, and then when I proned, I was doing it quick, and because of that placement, I was just right there.
No, that makes
Right?
sense.
So when I shoot prone, the gun is less stable. When I'm standing, the gun is more stable. When I say stable, I'm talking about on my body. When I'm on the ground, the gun is kind of just sitting on the ground. I'm just shooting it. When I'm holding it, I like pull it with my support hand to my shoulder. That thing is locked in pretty good, right? So it's basically more like looser on the ground. And then when I fire the first round, and I remember the very first round I fired, pop, it hit me. That little G43 right in the forehead. And I knew, I was like, yep, that hit me pretty good. I felt that. But I had to keep shooting. So I just kept shooting. And the second one, I adjusted very briefly because I never like stopped my cadence, right?
Were you bleeding?
Yes.
That came up.
That came up later. And then I adjusted myself maybe an inch. And I fired again. And it hit me again, but it was less. So I went back a little bit, shot again. It was just barely touching my sunglasses at that point. And when I was done, got up. But the first one, I felt like it bit me pretty hard.
Yeah.
And then I just start bleeding from here. So, moral of the story here is obviously adjust your gun. Like if I just simply adjust the way I shoot a spear, which would be stock a little bit back, I'd be fine. I'd still try to get that eye relief, but I wouldn't be like on the freaking thing, right?
Yeah.
In the
Yeah.
speed. But if you're shooting a high caliber gun, maybe don't use a freaking EOTech G43.
Don't.
Where the eye
Absolutely
relief is
not.
like right
That's it.
here. You have
Don't
to
do
be.
it.
I think that's a good life lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously, like the high caliber guns, they will recoil, especially when you're prone to, like, you're gonna get hit in the face with that thing. So maybe don't use a magnifier like that.
You know what my first scope bite was?
What?
So it was the third time we went to the range.
It was a 22 caliber
No
rifle.
No, it was much
It
bigger
bruised
than
for a
that.
month.
It was my third time ever going to the range with you guys filming, and I was still relatively new, very green, and we brought the 50 out. And I remember getting down, I laid it down on the ground. We were shooting out to about 100 yards. Grass is, it's like, I think it may have been fall, because when I shot the first round, I shot one round first prone. And it just, everything went, whoo. I was looking around. I was like, holy cow, that thing's crazy. Like a firework going in your head. And I think it was you. You're like, unload. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
I go boom, boom. And then the third one hit me right in the eye. Right here.
Ooh.
And I felt it. And then I had one more left, and I finished it off. And I got up. I was like, that hurt.
Did you bleed on that one or no?
No, I didn't
Oh,
bleed.
yeah.
Luckily, it wasn't like a super big scope bite. Like I didn't get smashed in the face. Thank goodness, because that had has
Well,
power.
thanks to that
it,
big break on that gun and that little short recoil system, like, and it has that buffer thing in the back. Like
Yep.
that thing It's loud. It does recoil, but it's nothing like some of the other guns.
And it just slowly creeped back. That's what I realized, that it moves. Guns move when you're shooting them on the ground. Duh. But like it slowly creeped back, and that's why it caught me. But yeah.
Yeah, you got lucky. I was bleeding on that one, and I was filming, and we just kept filming. Like there's no, you just got to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Dude, I was like, this is before class firearms. I was a local police officer, and we were just shooting at a quarry training. Nothing crazy. We're shooting at a paper. But we're at the quarry. One of the reasons I always say about eye protection, right? And we're firing the Smith & Wesson MP40s. I was shooting that thing at a paper target. I fired one of the rounds, and I just like felt that impact real hardcore right here. There's still a scar here on my head. I don't know. Can you see? There's still a
Oh
scar.
yeah, there's literally just a little tiny.
Yeah. So I'm just like shooting, and then pop! It hit me in the head, and we're qualifying. And I just kept shooting because I was literally on time, and I just had to do it. And I just felt something just running down my nose. But I'm still shooting. I have to go through the whole qualification. There's a round just hits a quarry and a piece of rock. Comes in, just hits me right in the freaking forehead so hard. Just splits right here, and I just start bleeding real bad.
Dang, you were part of the rock skippers before you even started here.
There you go.
It's crazy.
I was skipping around with my bullets.
Hey, so were we technically. So were we.
Yeah.
All right, John.
Yeah, what do you got?
This one time I was shooting these
feel like
pixels.
I feel like most of mine I can't tell on the podcast. I'll get in trouble. Either the video won't go out or I'm gonna get in trouble.
Cosmopolitan.
That shot show, yeah.
So the Cosmopolitan. If any of you haven't been there, the place where you go out to like get in the Ubers, your taxis or whatever, the curb is the same color as the actual road. Well,
so this is to Las Vegas metropolitan area. The mayor over there, the governor, you're watching, right?
yes, this is directly to him. You'll be hearing from my lawyers. This was 2 years ago. It was two shot shows. Yeah, it was two shot shows ago, and it was the last day of shot show. So like I'm freaking exhausted at this point. Stone sober. No, of course not. No. Anyway, we were walking out of the Cosmopolitan and the Uber's there. Well, me and Matt went to the bathroom, and then our group went ahead of us a little bit. And by the time we got outside, they were already by the Uber, and they're like, "Come on, hurry up!" And they're like screaming like we're gonna miss the Uber or something. And so I don't know why, but we start running, and I'm wearing a full suit. And as I'm sprinting toward the Uber, the only thing in my mind is, man, I bet I look like freaking John Wick right now, like running in this cool ass suit. Next thing I know, I fucking eat shit on this road because I'm still running on the curb, completely missed the curb, step down, and I freaking eat it, man. It was my right knee. Oh, I thought I tore my MCL. It hurt so bad. And then to add insult to injury, Matt also slips and falls right behind me and like hits me as he's falling.
Matt Capaldi,
yeah, Cap-like Capaldi. He proceeds to slide underneath the Uber as I'm just sitting there writhing in pain. It was awful. I literally, oh my God, I had to get in a wheelchair. Can we add that picture?
Yeah, yes. I can add it.
I was about to bring that.
Everything we reference, we're going to add.
There's a great photo of me in a wheelchair looking out of the Las Vegas airport. Oh man, it's an album cover.
There's an add-on to this, and that add-on is me and Ryan, and our very good friend buddy Neil McLean. Yeah,
McLean Core Slings.
Yeah, exactly. Active Crisis. Shout out to those guys. Mm-hmm. So we ditched these guys. They went right. We went left when we were leaving the restaurant, right? So we're drinking, and it's the reason we're doing this because we just finished Shot Show. It was a good one, really, really good one, right? We were celebrating before we go back home. So we're drinking, me, Ryan, and Neil. We're supposed to be meeting outside at 6 a.m. or whatever, 6:30 a.m., whatever it was.
Yeah, it might have been even early.
Maybe early.
I think it was 5:30.
Something like that.
Yes.
Like the whole team is supposed to be meeting there at like 5:30, 6, whatever that was.
So we're just going to stay up because at this point it's like it was 1 a.m., 12 a.m. something. We were like, we're just going to stay up.
We're just drinking, and plus Las Vegas, you don't know what time it is. Like
when
you
you're
just
inside.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we're drinking, talking, having a good time, and then at one point Ryan was like, "Hey man, I'm just going to go and get ready and leave." Mm-hmm. And you left pretty much. You pushed the boundaries on the time.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So. Yeah. And then you left. I was like, "Yeah, I'll be right over. Like, I'll just be right behind you." We're drunk, so I forget. So he's gone, and me and Neil are talking. And then Ryan, I'll never forget. It was 6:03 a.m.
Yeah.
You call me. You're like, hey, we're all waiting for you outside. You ready? And as I'm just, still my drink is halfway. I'm still messed up. My room is a mess. I am not even packed. We got a flight at 8 o'clock. I think it was 8:20, whatever that flight was. I was like, I looked at it. It was 6:03. Took another sip. I was like, I think I'm gonna have to take my own Uber, get my own Uber. So you guys go. So he's like, all right, no objection.
Yeah.
You just leave.
Well, the best part about that was, keep in mind, I'm still completely immobilized at this point. I don't think I can move. Ryan is calling me, and he's like,
This is at like 5 a.m. or something like that.
Ryan doesn't really get tore up about much. I really rarely see him, get bent out of shape or out of sorts about anything. Well, no one was coming up to his room to help him pack up a bunch of stuff.
All this podcast
every
stuff.
single piece of equipment.
Yes.
That is
All
not
this-
exaggeration.
yes, the podcast
Because
stuff.
we packed it up from the podcast room that night before
Yep.
and brought it to mine.
And so he's up there. He's freaking out as no one's coming there. And so
I'm like, it would take me 8 trips.
I'm
bring
crippled.
everything down
Okay,
over
I'm completely crippled. I literally hop on like one foot all the way to Ryan's room.
This isn't a group message, by the way, so everyone could see this.
Yes.
But I'm the only one, or John's the only one that's responding. The cripple.
Everybody else
That,
gone.
by the way, Kai and I don't know is a cripple at this point.
We know nothing about this.
To be fair,
Yeah.
I did text him the night before about that, but
Yeah, nobody.
Those
looked at
texts
that
are
text
unreliable,
message.
man.
Nobody watched.
Is that the same night you stayed up all night? I
Yep.
feel like
Yeah,
that
yeah,
man's-
exactly. You
and
can
so
start to see the connection.
I get to Ryan's room. I'm sitting there hunched over in like severe pain, and Ryan's like, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "You didn't see my text." and so
dying. And I'm like, what?
and so I get in Ryan's room. It's just me and him in there. We're trying to get this stuff together.
When he's saying hobbling, he means like literally he's not walking on one foot. He's like the other foot is
not
in the
touching-
air. It's not touching the ground.
I don't know. I truly don't know what I did to my knee, but God, it hurt. And so we're in there. We're trying to pack this stuff up. Ryan's got his huge suitcase up here. This thing just completely spills over and dumps out. Ryan gets up. I think he's about to beat me. I'm like, I'm getting. And so finally, I pick it up. We get it packed up. By the grace of God, we somehow made it to that airport on time. And as you know,
And Kaya did.
I was
too.
Kaya did too.
Kaya.
And as I'm being wheeled in the wheelchair, I see Kaya coming in, and like the timing couldn't have been better. And Kaya's like, "That kind of looks like John."
It was a very interesting one. They barely made it to the airport, and they got on that Uber while I was still drinking downstairs.
It was
So I had
scary.
to go up to my room and pack. Because
Yep.
when I walked in, everything was just mess. Neil stayed with me the night before, too.
Yeah.
So it was just mess. So I go in, I just like, you don't fold anything. You just like grab all your clothes and just shove it into
Yes.
that.
Yep.
You're like,
So I did that.
I'm not gonna wash them anyway.
Every
Yep.
year, man.
And then I get my own Uber, drunk as hell. I get out of the Uber, and I'm walking into the airport, and I see from the baggage claim, not the ticket
ticketing.
counters, there's a airport workers wheeling somebody out. I was like, that looks like John. But I legit don't think that's John. I was like, that looks just like John. I just keep walking. As I'm walking, that wheelchair is getting closer to me. I'm like, oh my God, that is John. Like, what in the hell happened?
What circumstances happened
like a hangover
where we
TV
got
show.
here?
We all got premium boarding. We all as a group slicked right through TSA, all because of my knee injury. So I think, in the grand scheme of things, it was for the greater good.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
It was.
next time, if you don't get hurt, we will hurt you. So we get
I didn't get physically hurt this time last year. It was just, mentally.
emotional.
Yeah, mentally.
We call them
emotional.
workers' comp.
Yeah.
My favorite part about this whole story, so I did not go to that SHOT Show, but I was in the video
You
room
had
the whole
just
time.
started,
Yep,
right?
literally
Yeah.
my first week was at SHOT Show. Matt was the first person to make it home. He says, "Did you hear about John?" I said, "What, is he okay?" He says, "No." I'm like, "What's happened to John? Like, what's wrong with
He's
John?"
gone. He's gone. That was
Yeah,
it.
John's gone. Vegas
John's
has him
Never
now.
recovered him. Yeah.
He has Vegas, or Vegas has him.
Oh,
Yeah.
speaking of never not recovering, so I actually was left on a trip once, and I got a story for this.
Forgot about this one.
I was the only one here for this trip, but it was it was 3 other people who were not with us. One of which was Clint, and we're in northern Florida for this. It was actually the first time I ever met Graham, Photogenic Firearms. And he came out to meet us out there, and we brought a bunch of surplus guns, we brought 50 cals, Barretts, all sorts of crazy stuff, right? And the idea was we were working with a YouTuber named Tavarish. Some people might know him. He's a car guy. So he does insane car stuff. Like he buries them for like a few months and sees if like what it's like when he brings them out. He'll what else did he did? He did a Fast and the Furious 8. He actually made like the body of the car, which wasn't a real Lamborghini, into an actual Lamborghini. And in fact, that one we were doing a test whether a 50 BMG was louder than a twin turbo Lamborghini. That was the test. And it was like a title for a fun video, but he also wanted to shoot some guns. So we were going to do videos on both channels.
Makes sense.
Well, when we get out there, this is in Orlando, Florida. I'm going around and we're finding some different bars to meet Tavarish at, and we're trying to figure out like different restaurants, all that stuff. And we're going around and we end up at this like random bar that he's like, oh, this is for locals only. And we're like, oh, it's cool. Local spot. We'll come and check it out. Well, this guy gave us some free drinks.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Not totally sure what was happening there. And we all went to bed that night, and we woke up and just feeling horrible.
Oh, yeah, you guys got
and and I don't know if it was, that was the thing too. We actually had sushi that night. So it could have been food poisoning. So we were kind of debating. We're like, it's one of these two things.
Everybody who had sushi
right?
was sick?
Yes, everyone had sushi was sick. It was me and one other guy had sushi, and he was sick as well. So, but I got the worst of it because he just ate out of my sushi, but it was the vast majority of it. So I was by far the most sick.
I would actually bet on the sushi than drinks, honestly. Sushi, because raw meat and stuff.
I mean, it was Florida.
I don't know, right?
They don't say Florida man for nothing.
Yeah. So anyways, it was questionable sushi, right? Possibly food poisoning.
Yeah.
And I've never had this before where I could, if I was drinking water, it was immediately coming back up.
Ooh.
Like within 10 minutes.
That sounds like food poisoning.
And yeah, I've never had that happen before. It was like, in just water. Like, it's very strange. I was like, okay, this is not good. And then I'm like, let's just, we're already meeting Tavarish in the morning. We're like, let's just go and meet him at the range. So we get out to the range. Halfway through, I'm like, all right, I'm feeling better. Once we get there, just immediately plummets. All my confidence. Just immediately, water was expelling from my body. Oh, no. And I couldn't keep any of it down. I was like, I'm not good. Like, could someone else fill in? Yeah, they're making it work, all this stuff. And they're still doing the video, which is there's a Lamborghini out there, 50 BMGs. They're firing a bunch of guns. I'm behind a shed just vomiting.
Ooh.
And I can't stop. And I'm trying to like just cope with the situation. It's like probably 100 degrees heat outside while this is all happening. They're shooting 50 in the background. Then while they're shooting the 50 into a rock quarry is what it really was. And this is what we think of it, your rock quarry story. Rocks are flying everywhere. We have some of this old footage from back then. It's literally raining down rocks. And it was so loud that the Lamborghini's car alarm starts going off. So just imagine while this is happening, I'm behind a shed, over 100 degree heat, vomiting profusely. And I'm like, what? And I don't know what's happening. I'm like, what is going on out there? Like,
Dude, that content should have been like.
That's a level of hell.
It was a level of hell.
50
exactly.
BMG louder than a Lamborghini versus Ryan's
So wait, didn't you say you got left though?
Yes. So that's the second part of the story.
Happened?
So after we're done, I'm like, I just have food poisoning. I don't know what else we can do. We're traveling up that night to go back to North Carolina. So we ended up doing was my wife was in Florida. She's from Florida. She was already traveling up in a couple days. So I stayed at a hotel room, and she picked me up on the way back up, and I slept there that night alone while they drove back up without me.
That was not the fun
I got left in Florida.
Story.
Yeah.
We should have left John behind too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait for his knee to break again.
So one time, you remember the active crisis training event? Too.
Very well.
Well,
what happened?
Was it the first or second night? All I remember is Jason and I, and everyone else. We had been partaking.
Ryan, don't tell that he was on his boxers.
And some. They were briefs, actually. They were Calvin Klein. Well, we had all been drinking rather heavily that evening, and we'd all made it back to the cabins.
Yeah, no
And me,
shit.
and me and Ryan, you know, we check into our cabins. You know, we're sitting there. We're about to go to sleep. All of a sudden,
Mind you, in the middle of nowhere, like
middle
in
of
the
nowhere,
woods.
Georgia, BFE, January. It's like 17 degrees. It's cold. Next thing I hear on the door, and it's Jason. And Jason is in his underwear at our door, and he's like, and he's holding. I think, did he have anything to drink with him, or was it just Jason?
I don't remember what he had.
Oh no,
it
he
was,
had nothing.
It was
in
just
his hands.
him.
Yeah, it was just him, and he showed up there. and He said, "Y'all want to go fuck with Kaya?" And I was like, "Yes."
We can't tell you guys all of the stories, especially the good ones, because this is
They're not the
a
good ones.
business.
Yeah, don't ask how I lost my ID one time.
Okay.
Anyway,
You want to talk
so you guys remember all of the times that we have done spicy challenges? Yes? Yeah. We got a couple of those.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, outside the warehouse, you can find them all. This one, everybody here knows this story. It is the gummy bear, 6 million Scoville challenge?
Yeah, it might have been over that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So-
whatever it was.
I was pumped. This was, I don't know, 6 months in, 7 months in, something like that for me being here. And I was super excited. I've heard about all these spicy challenges. Clint's done one, Kaya's done one, everybody's done one, right? In the past. I'm super excited to do it. So we get this gummy bear, and we all stand, there's me, John, and Ryan, in front of the table. We put the gummy bear box down, and then we start filming, and then now we open it up, and we actually get to feel what it feels like for the first time. And it was hard as a rock. This thing, it was not a gummy bear. There's nothing gummy about this. It is a rock candy. It's not good. And I had just gotten my braces on. Yep, I have braces, unfortunately. So I'm like,
you're gonna feel that later in your life, man. It's gonna be good. I'm
yes,
jealous.
I
mean it.
Thankfully, I have them, but in that moment, they sucked because it made it very hard to chew this thing. Anyway, so we take this thing, we throw it in our mouths, and the rule was you had to swallow it, right? It's a gummy bear. This thing's gonna rip a brace off because now it's starting to get like it's
was
not
so
solid.
big?
Yeah.
No, it's a tiny gummy bear. It's a very, very, very small gummy bear. It is now liquefying in my mouth, and it is disgusting. Flavor-wise, it is super spicy. So, of course, we 6 bites in and we swallow it. Well, I was doing pretty good because what I didn't know at the time was if you just kind of, get rid of it quickly, the burn doesn't just sit in your mouth for very long. It goes down, and now it's down here. Everybody else was still chewing on theirs. You guys were just like macking on that thing. Like, I don't know, 20, 30 times? I think, Ryan, I think you had it the
I
longest.
chew it to little tiny pieces.
Yeah. I couldn't get it to
So my
those.
stomach could process it better.
Well,
That's honestly
That's
valid.
why.
That's honestly valid. I should have done that.
To me, I look
Short-term
at it-
pain in your mouth, but short-term pain in your stomach as well.
oh no, it was bad. That was the worst pain of my stomach I've ever had. You could feel it, and Josh has literally showing the video of the aftermath of this.
Oh yeah, we'll show it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So we take this all down. Now, if you watch the video, we also did the stick thing. What was it? The meat stick.
Meat sticks.
Yep. Yep. Man, this really sounds bad. We also did the freeze dried ice cream
That
sandwiches.
was the worst.
Yeah. The freeze dried ice cream
was
sandwiches got stuck in my mouth. I couldn't talk. My mouth went numb. Ryan thought he was gonna have to call the EMTs or something.
I didn't know what was wrong with him when he started speaking like this.
I literally,
His tongue was numb, and I was like, "Oh, this is not good." Like,
Try-
This is no
So Spice Challenges over at Outside the Warehouse, guys. Definitely check them out. The very first time I did a couple. I don't know how many of them, but I did the one chip that was just really unexpected, and those suck. I refuse to do them anymore.
Yep.
A little here and there. fine.
Adamantly refuses. It's not just like, no, I'm not going to do this.
Just-
It's, I will not do this ever.
Well, because I get sick. Like I truly believe I'm like allergic to them or something. I actually do get sick.
I got sick after that.
So
gummy
it's
bear.
not the pain in here, right? It's just the getting sick to your stomach. Anyway, so with that being said, I'm out. I have paid my dues. Jason hasn't.
Jason did the spicy wing.
I watched
Oh,
that.
wait,
That was
wait,
okay.
wait,
I'm on Kaya's side
Yeah,
here.
come
he needs
on.
to do like an
Kevin
actual
Brennan.
one.
Look,
Yeah,
until
is it one chip? We did one chip, Death Nut, all that.
The one chip's banned now.
yeah,
I
You
still
actually can't
have
do the
one.
one chip
Around the
anymore.
country banned, or is it
Re-
just federally?
No, like around the country banned.
Lame.
Like you cannot buy the Packy one chip anymore.
I still
Unless
have
that just changed.
I still have the other one because I bought 2 whenever I got the one
'Cause
for
I
you. I don't know
got
how
one.
good it is.
probably
I'm
not
sure
good.
it's still very good.
So, unless if you know the term fire hose and you can tell me what that means, you've not done a spicy challenge.
Fire hose?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the deal. Spicy stuff, after a certain point, you talk about like millions of Scoville heat unit. When I was going through my training, we were going through some mace,
Yeah.
the OC, we call them pepper spray training. After a certain point, the effects are all the same. It just, your nerve endings can only take so much. So you just numb them like crazy. So I remember we had the 2 million Scoville heat unit pepper spray.
Sure.
And then we had the 5
Wait,
million.
those are measured in Scoville?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I did.
Pepper sprays
That's
are like
actually
that.
kinda
I
cool.
did not know
Yeah,
that.
Pepper sprays are like that. So they're actually food product. They expired after a few years, and you got to get new ones. You're issued, right? Ours we had 5 million. They're water-based ones and oil-based ones. Oil-based ones actually do catch on fire, where you spray somebody with it, and then the other officer tases that person catches on fire. This has happened before. That's why a lot of oil-based stuff got banned, and it's all water-based. The ones because I was issued at 5 million oil-based, and then I got issued at 2 million water-based. Effects are the same. We were sprayed. Yeah, you burn just because after you just plateau after.
You all burn the same.
Yeah,
I-
all burn the same.
I,
But it's
Pretty much.
kind of
You may be onto something there, because with that gummy bear, like that thing was insane. But after that though, everything else was easy. I feel like.
Update on the one chip challenge. That was banned in 2023.
Yep.
You can still find them from 2023. So I'm sure that chip is very
I see what you're
right
saying. So
and not stale at all.
yeah.
And they're
Josh in the corner says-
$50 from
50.
one chip is $50.
I spent $10 on 2.
and that's for a stale chip. That's not even good
yeah.
chip.
Man,
Man,
That's
I'm gonna
a
sell mine for like
2023
$100.
chip.
Mine's the blue label package.
Yeah,
I
that's
could
even
sell
older.
that thing.
I bet you could.
$50.
That's the original, I think.
yeah, that's gotta be registered.
Yeah, I don't miss being
Yeah.
coddled in the corner because I'm dying because it's so spicy. It hurts my stomach.
That was rough.
Yeah. That is
Literally
good
was
stuff.
in a ball in a corner.
What's our next event?
SIG.
Next. That's right. That's what we're gonna do. So I'm assuming we're gonna have another story from that trip. We'll have to
Yep.
see. Yeah, what's gonna happen with that?
Signex last year was. I hurt my knee then too. I was trying to
You
jump
this guy.
over a bush.
Why?
I was running back to the hotel.
Yep.
We're not going to tell that story.
Some stories are better left
What
in
happened?
the dark.
Did it involve Tinder? What was it?
No, it involved me thinking I was going to die and wanting to die at the same time.
It's
so
an
we're
epic story,
gonna
though.
leave that one out.
Yeah, we're gonna leave that one
Yeah,
out.
I don't want that one out there. That was bad.
What's wrong with dying?
I mean, nothing. I could see Jesus sooner, but there's still work for me to do here for him.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, moving
Everyone's
on.
got to do it. All right.
And don't shoot 65 Creedmoor through a 308 gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do
have
that.
a proper. I think there's some learning lessons to be had here. Wear eye protection. Have a properly head-spaced gun. Don't bring John to Vegas.
Yes.
And keep your keys on you at all times
Yep.
so you don't get locked out. These are little good stories back here, guys. And also, make sure when you handle firearms, you check them properly for clear at all times. That's extremely important for everybody, right? For firearm safety rules. And with that being said, I'm going to go over them real quick. Treat all firearms as if they're loaded. Keep your finger off the trigger unless you intend to press it. And never point a firearm at anybody unless you're justified. If you are, then have at it. And the last one would be just know the back side of your target so you don't have any unintended targets. With that being said, guys, thanks for tuning in.
Is 3 the written rule? Is that the written rule for 3?
Yeah, I just said the
Or
fourth
like,
one,
don't
too.
point your firearm in unless you intend to destroy something. It's the same thing what he said.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, the one that I just recited, that's directly from the FBI's firearms training unit.
Oh, fair.
Verbatim. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. Check out Classic Firearms channel. Obviously, you guys know what that is. We have a bunch of new content coming out for you guys. Also, check out CF Contest. These guys are going to tell you.
CF Contest is a great place where you could find some really cool things that
Secret
you would
things.
like in your safe at no cost to you.
Absolutely.
Not that.
Bi-weekly, guys.
Not this
Every couple of weeks. We had Tanner Tactical, Pit Vipers, Sand Vipers, Genesis 12 from John Wick.
6 beers.
Yeah,
M14.
6 Spears, Scars. H&K, but not this one. MR762, MR556.
Yep.
All this good stuff. So definitely check it out. And we every couple bi-weekly, right? Just sometimes they're like a month long, but generally speaking, bi-weekly we'll have something on there for you guys. So also check the description side section of all of our videos going forward. You'll have some cool stuff there too.
Yep.
Well, Ryan, John, Brandon,
What's up?
if you guys got nothing else going on, I'm going to shut this thing down.
Let's do it.
All right, gentlemen and ladies. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your business.
God bless.
And we'll see you on the next one.
All right. Peace.